Hi everyone, now the purpose of this video is to share my experiences of using public transport, specifically trains, since Monday the 15th of June, when the rule, in inverted commas, came in that passengers are expected to wear a face covering. Now this rule is based on government advice, so it should not be mandatory, but it's strongly being pushed that it is, and I've even heard it described as a legal requirement, punishable by fines and refusal of service. Since Monday the 15th, which is a couple of days back, I've caught 4 trains and not covered my face at all. But first, a little about how the trains in the UK are operated. The clue is in the name public transport. All the trains, tracks and platforms are funded by public money. The operators, my local one being First Great Western, are just there to cream off any profits by selling tickets. You could say we're being charged twice to use the service. It's like paying for a car, paying your road tax and fuel, and then being charged an additional fee each time you want to drive. And now, to rub salt in the wounds, they're inventing these arbitrary rules about covering your face. But this is going off topic. So the first train I had to catch was Monday morning, 6:30 a.m. I'd come up with all these arguments, expecting to be challenged about why I didn't have a mask on. Actually, as I got to the platform, which is quite a quiet one, it's only a short journey I take on the Bristol to London line, which is usually really busy, but since the whole bug story has dominated the news, it's been deserted. My journey either starts or finishes at Bath Spa, which is a busy station. The other end's a lot quieter, which is where I started at 6:30 a.m. on Monday morning. There was an earlier train that had just come in as I was approaching the station, and loads of people were getting off. I mean, I hadn't seen so many people on trains for ages, and every one of them still had their face mask on, despite the fact they were no longer on the train. Well, I got my ticket, only a few people on the platform, probably about 5 to 10, all of them wearing face masks. I got on the train, again, probably about 10, 20 people I saw on the train, everyone wearing a face mask. I was the only person that wasn't. No one stopped me, no one asked me anything, no one even gave me a funny look. Got off at Bath Spa. End of. I'd come up with a whole load of reasons about if I was challenged, and no one said a thing. The next train I had to catch was starting at Bath Spa, was a lot later in the day. It was like rush hour, you could say, if such a thing even exists anymore, about 4 p.m. Again, I walked onto Bath Spa platform, and this time I was approached by a member of staff. Now, I've been catching these trains for years. I'm quite familiar with a lot of the staff there. This guy asked how I was, if I was alright, then started pointing at the mask he was wearing, and I just said I've got a medical condition that prevents me wearing one. We'll come back to that in a minute, it's not a lie. And he just walked away once I said that. I got on the train, a few people on there, probably 5 to 10 people on the carriage I was on, everyone wearing a mask. No one said anything to me. I think, call him conductor, the ticket checking people walked by and didn't ask me anything. So yeah, got off at the quieter station, and that was that. Second journey, no mask. The third one was again starting at the quieter station, about 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. A few more people around, everyone again wearing masks, absolutely everyone, except me. Got a few funny looks. Had a couple of members of staff on the platform just walk past me, didn't really give me a second look. Of course, these people are being paid to do their job, and that job isn't challenging passengers as to why they're not wearing certain items of clothing. Got on that train, and I didn't realise until I was getting off the train that I was sat opposite someone in a First Great Western uniform with a big gold badge. I wonder if he was some sort of senior management or something. He looked like it, and he had a mask on, but again didn't say a word to me. I got off at Bath Spa, went about again unchallenged, and then coming back again about 4 p.m, maybe 5 p.m. at Bath Spa, I was stopped as I came through the ticket barrier in Bath by a police officer. He had a face mask on, and I do actually have hearing problems, and I was finding it difficult to hear what he said, and I asked him, please, I need to see your mouth moving to understand what you're saying. Now, I do have hearing loss. Some days are better than others, but on noisy environments like a train station, I can't hear anything. So I did ask him to remove it, but he wouldn't. Now, it was obvious he was asking me if I had a mask. Again, I told him I've got a medical condition, and he said carry on. So I thanked him for his understanding and just got on the train. Again, no one on the platform gave me a second look, and I just carried on my journey. In fact, getting off that train, I did see one other person on the carriage, didn't have a mask on, and I said to him, oh, it was really good to see another bare face. This guy laughed, and he sort of said, "Oh no, I do have a mask," and I said to him, "Well, I think it's a bit much them taking away our unrestricted airflow," and he kind of said, "Oh, I understand why they're doing it," and we left it at that. But so one other person in the 4 train journeys on Monday and Tuesday, the 15th and 16th of June, I've not worn a mask. I've seen one other person not wear one. Generally, the staff haven't bothered me at all. To put this into summary, this isn't the first situation where I've been expected to wear a mask or a covering and refused. You may wonder why I'm so against wearing one. And I actually have multiple reasons. The most important to me is where I put my faith, and it isn't in a face covering or a mask. But the one that seems to get accepted by others is a medical reason. Is to say you've got medical reasons, and that's not a lie, because everyone has a medical reason not to wear a mask. For example, if a person passes out, the first thing a paramedic will give them is oxygen, because you can't go wrong giving oxygen. But restricting our air supply, which happens every time you cover your mouth and nose, is the opposite to giving oxygen. And in no way is it a sensible choice for any amount of times, especially like a prolonged period of time where you're on a train, say Bristol to London, that's over an hour journey, having a mask on for that amount of time. All sorts of conditions caused by rebreathing your own carbon dioxide, such as hypercapnia, hyperventilation. There's a long list of it, but it comes down to this. Wearing a face covering is still a personal choice. No one's at the train station placing them on your face, so it's still down to you to decide whether you wear one or not. Now, we've seen videos in America of passengers being pulled off buses by their feet for not having a mask or a covering, but I actually believe this is just scare tactics designed to intimidate people into complying, but it's your choice whether you comply. It's early days. I've only caught 4 trains since these rules have come into place, and so far no one's demanded I put a mask on. I've been asked a couple of times whether I have one or why I'm not wearing one, and that's it so far. My advice to anyone wanting to use public transport but don't want to cover their face is to say it's for a medical condition, medical reasons, which isn't a lie. If they refuse you service, then you can kind of get them under the Discrimination Act, because they're refusing you service based on your disability being not being able to wear a mask, which every person in the world, unless they've got an oxygen mask attached to them, should have. And another piece of advice I'd give is be polite and respectful towards the staff, anyone that might approach you. Don't be aggressive, don't be rude, they're just doing their job. In fact, with the right approach, you could even convince them that they shouldn't be wearing their mask, whether or not their employer's telling them. The old saying is that more carrot, less stick, and I think that is appropriate here. I don't generally catch buses, but I'd be interested to hear anyone else's experience of catching trains or buses and how you got on. I have done a previous video about exemption from wearing masks on public transport or in public places. This video was taken down by YouTube, but the videos are still there. There's a link to my 153 News account. You can find those videos on there. Share your experiences, let me know how you've been getting on, and as always, thank you for watching.